As a longevity expert, what's your relationship with death like, your own mortality?
I really don't worry about death. I think about it a lot because it's my profession, so it's on my mind. But I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of not existing. Um, as I wrote in my book, anyone who's seen me drive my car knows that to be true. I'm fairly reckless, and that's also not good. I do wear a seatbelt these days, but um, I think the way I've led life, taking a lot of risks, uh, is good evidence that I'm not afraid of dying. What I do with my lifestyle is more curiosity and more being a role model. Right, I'm very aware that if I put on lots of weight, then I'm a bad role model. It's not because I'm so worried about being fat. So that's it. I'm not worried about dying. I'd like to stay around for as long as possible because I love humanity and what we're achieving, and I want to see the future. It's very interesting. My biggest concern, if you were to say what it is, and I've done therapy on this, so I know what it is, it's dying without leaving an impression or a mark. I want to die knowing I've made a difference, and then I'll be happy. And I know that's also an obsession too. I'd probably be a lot more relaxed if I didn't worry about that. But it does help me get up in the morning, helps me do these kind of educational things, helps me write the book, um, and publish really important science as best as I can. I'm getting to the point in life, though, that I've already exceeded my expectations in life. And so I'm not slowing down, but I'm broadening the kind of things that I do. And I'm focusing a lot more on education. So I've got book 2 coming out next year, the sequel to Lifespan. I'm pitching a TV show that would be educational for children as well as adults. We'll see how that goes. But I'd like to teach people how even small changes in their lifestyle can have big impacts later on.
You talked about the fact that at this point in your career, you've gone beyond any goals you would have had. Reassessing now in your 50s, what do the new goals look like? What do you think you can do with the next 50 plus years of your life? You've talked about the TV show and on a small scale, but more grand.
Yeah, well, the TV show really is a way to get my book to hundreds of millions rather than just millions. So that's the reason I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because I want to see my face on TV. I just want to make that clear. Although it may feel like I'm trying to become famous, I'm quite happy with my whatever the adjective is for famous. I'm working on, for the rest of foreseeable future, getting at least one medicine approved, ideally multiple. I've got a few companies that are doing that. And I shouldn't really say I would say I co-founded, right? That's a better way to put it. And I play active roles in a few companies trying to make sure that they have enough money to survive. Life Biosciences is doing the reprogramming the eye to restore visual function in people next year. And the one that's the NMN company is it's actually not an NMN company. We have new molecules that are better than NMN. And that one's called Metro Biotech. So if either of those companies, Metro or Life Biosciences, produces a medicine, that'll be great. I'm focused on that. I am focused on continuing to travel the world to educate. Last year, Serena and I were on the road for close to 300 days in the year. And a lot of that was giving talks and meeting people. I like doing that. I'd like to make another big discovery. I think finding where the backup copy of the software of the body would be rewarding and useful. So the lab is focused on that. The lab is something I'm not going to give up. The lab is my core. It's my Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It rejuvenates me whenever I go in there. I think with the new season of my podcast that I'm going to launch, hopefully imminently, I want to take people through a journey through my lab because it's so special. the students there do the impossible, and for them it's just daily. So that's another goal, is to make sure that my lab is thriving and answering big questions for humanity.
At this point, and again, you still have hopefully a lot of years to research and come up with new theories and discoveries. What are you most proud of that's come out of the lab?
I don't know. I'm going to very quickly list some of the things. Uh, we showed that hormesis is true. That in animals and yeast, that when you're under a slight stress, what doesn't kill you makes you live longer. That was a big one. Doesn't seem big now, but in 2002 it was huge. It was a Nature paper in 2003. That one, small molecules can activate enzymes that control longevity, resveratrol, sirtuins. The information theory of aging is a big one. Showing that fasting and calorie restriction work through genetic mechanisms rather than metabolism. That was a big one. NAD discovery has gone big. I think the biggest so far is showing that you can safely reverse the age of an animal through reprogramming. That got the cover of Nature magazine in 2020. It's either that one or the Cell paper we put out last year, showing that we could control aging in both directions, according to the information theory of aging. That one took 13 years, 46 scientists, 3 of whom we lost along the way, 2 to COVID, 1 from old age. And it was a massive effort. It was a big paper. Literally, it was the biggest paper that the journal Cell had ever published. And I'm very proud of that one. And that one, the conclusion was that changes to the epigenome are a cause of aging in mammals, in us. And that may be my biggest discovery, but I hope not. I hope I'm able to show that in humans you can rejuvenate and cure diseases, restore eyesight, restore hearing, perhaps extend lifespan dramatically. That would be my goal ultimately before I die.
Given your involvement in this field of longevity, the research you've done, your colleagues and what you know, how long at this point do you think you're going to live for?
I'd have to guess because I don't know. According to my blood biochemistry, I'm at least a decade younger. I certainly feel like I did when I was in my 20s still. I can do everything I did in my 20s. So I guess if you say I'm 45 at least, I might live to 100. The trajectory for people my age is, you tend to, on average, die around 90 if you're educated and have some, have some money, which, I'm very fortunate to have some money. So I'm probably predicted to live to 90. Give me another 10 years. I probably should make it to 100. Now, I'm doing other stuff, right? I'm monitoring myself. I take blood tests for cancer. I do MRI body scans for cancer. I measure my heart. I measure my brain activity. So I'm spoiled in terms of health. So I think that I have a chance to live beyond 100. Let's say I might live to 110. The world record's 120 something. So that's still pretty good. I'd love to prove myself wrong and live beyond that. But given all I know right now, that's what I'm putting my money on today.
You hear talk of longevity, escape velocity, and sticking around long enough that we can find essentially a cure for mortality. Do you feel like there's a possibility we're going to reach that within your lifetime?
The honest answer is no, I don't. Because drug development takes way too long. It's too difficult, it's too expensive for us to make big advances like that, unfortunately. I wish we lived in a world where it was quicker to develop a drug and cheaper. We don't. So, with that in mind, I don't think we're going to reach immortality in our lifetimes. But I do think there's a good chance that we could have a real breakthrough. Let's say reprogramming works and we could keep reprogramming ourselves. We might make it to 150 people in my age group. That's still pretty good. And it's also considered wildly optimistic. But immortality, I don't see anything yet that makes me optimistic that we'll see that. I'd love to be wrong. I'm always happy to be proven wrong. And maybe tomorrow someone's going to publish a paper that proves me wrong. It's just everything that I see, including the social and the legal aspects, means that we might have been born one generation too early for that.
Interesting. Well, hopefully you're wrong about that.
I hope so too.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch the full episode. I'll see you over there.
We're working currently on making a single chemical or a single natural molecule that you can take as a pill that would reverse the aging process. I think that what we get from fasting is turning on the body's natural defenses against aging.